Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 21. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm Zack Huber.
And this is the podcast where we talk about nerd culture stuff from the past week and this week. And today we got a lot to go over with you. We have some trailers from the Meg 2 and
Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
Yeah, new one from that movie. And we have some Superman Legacy news.
Indiana Jones news.
Secret Invasion and Mortal Kombat news.
Yeah.
So, I think we wanted to get into maybe the craziest thing that dropped this past week, which is the Meg 2 trailer.
Oh, we're going to start with Meg 2. Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Isn't that what the list started with?
I thought we were going to do Oppenheimer, but we can do Meg 2. Meg 2 is fine.
My bad. We do lists. We write our list down beforehand, and yours was titled Oppenheimer. I didn't realize. I didn't read the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. Let's start with Meg 2.
So the Meg 2, I had heard footage of what happens at CinemaCon that just recently happened last month.
Mm-hmm.
And the big news I heard was that Jason Statham stops a megalodon with his foot.
Yeah, we see it in the trailer.
And I thought that he was in like a mechanized suit. Because we do see that they're in these suits in the trailer. But
it's just his foot.
No, it's...
Yeah. There's so many ridiculous action scenes in this trailer that, I mean, and here's the thing. I haven't seen the first one. I know it's a goofier... Like, it doesn't take itself super seriously. No. And they go full out with it in this trailer.
Yeah, they like super play into it way more than I think that they did with the first one.
To me, this feels like Jaws, like combined with Fast and Furious. That's how it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because you get scenes of like the shark devouring a pier while he's running down it, and you get him like riding this huge wave while he's like, I don't know, hunting it or something
with like a harpoon.
Yeah, I mean, there's just crazy shit in this trailer.
I'm kind of surprised like how they're doing it this time around, because there's not just one, there's three of them.
Yeah,
now.
they hunt in a pack, right?
I guess they're called like a pod.
Okay.
But like in the first movie, a lot of it was like on this scientific base where they were like heavily guarded, and it was like and now they're like on a beach and there's piers and he's
it's
going around on jet skis.
Way more in the public. I think way more of a spectacle this one's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, even the concept that the movie starts off with is ridiculous, where like they have to go below the ocean or something. Isn't that what it's like below the trench or like?
Yes, they're in the trench.
Yeah.
This like prehistoric ecosystem,
right? And
ancient ecosystem is what they said.
That's like fighting to like break free of this area that it's been enclosed in for thousands of years, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, but it looks fun. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I'm a huge fan of the first movie, so I'm super down to see this one.
Yeah.
Even though the first one was like fun and campy, like with Jason Statham seemingly stopping a megalodon, which weighs tons and tons and tons with his foot.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping. I don't really care, I guess, but I'm just hoping that maybe we see like that it like is being caught by something by the time that it gets to Jason Statham's foot.
It's not just the full weight of the shark on his foot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so what would you prefer? Would you prefer Jason Statham using his foot to stop a shark, or everyone in Jurassic World Dominion using their hands to stop every dinosaur?
Jason Statham's job.
I feel you. I guess
just because like
they did it so many times in Jurassic World.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Jurassic World hand thing is more plausible.
Is it?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Maybe once.
No human's foot can stop. I can barely stop.
No, I feel
people can barely
right.
stop like a car rushing toward them with their foot. Like I don't know how you stop a beast that weighs that much.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
But I would rather see Jason Statham. I'd rather see that
I
than
would
everybody be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then every dinosaur is like, oh, the hand, the hand.
My gosh.
I know what that means.
I can't eat a hand.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, looks fun.
Yeah.
Looks campy. Looks like everything I need it to be. I do feel like not that the story's that important, but I do feel like they gave away like this character's gonna die and this character's gonna die.
They were showing a lot of deaths.
Yeah.
I was surprised about that. But I mean, that would get, a casual like goer into the movie, I would think, to see like, oh yeah, they're already showing these deaths. That means there's gonna be like way more on screen stuff, right? So.
But what's crazy about this movie is that it's been like 15, like the first movie was like 15, 20 years. Like the script had been around.
No way.
And like people weren't touching it. And then Jason Statham finally like was able to like get it to happen. Because it's based off of a book.
Okay.
But the movie's like very, very different than the book.
Right.
So I'm just excited that we get a sequel to this B movie. Which this is even more B movie.
It's a B movie that has like a massive budget. Like the first one I think had like $150 million budget. So I mean, crazy the money that they're getting for these movies, but if it's working, I guess it's working. Yeah.
The next trailer, we're going to talk about Oppenheimer.
There's already been trailers for this movie, but this is a pretty long new one. It's like almost 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like this was the first trailer for me where I fully, I mean, I don't know if I wish I knew this already, but I fully get like what the plot is going to be now. Like,
what do you mean?
Like it felt very like they were showing us where Cillian Murphy's character, which I'm assuming is Oppenheimer.
Yes.
He's like, basically we got to assemble a team of scientists, and he's going around and assembling a team, and I feel like just like we're getting like a plot structure where we didn't get one in previous trailers. So that's all I mean.
Are you familiar with like the Manhattan Project?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as familiar. I mean, I wouldn't say as I can be, but I'm decently familiar with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's new movie.
Yep.
Which is arguably my favorite director.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love like what I love about this trailer is if it was it is a typical Christopher Nolan trailer, but it's, based off a real story and like similar to like Dunkirk, but like this trailer, if it was like a science fiction movie, like I'd be like, holy shit. I mean, I still am.
Sure.
But like, cause it makes this real story feel like
very epic.
Very epic.
Yeah.
I will say, the only complaint that I have about it is Matt Damon seems a little too exaggerated.
How so?
Like it's the one scene, and maybe it'll play better in the movie, but it's the one scene where one of the scientists is, why would we like move and drop everything and go to this town where we don't know when we're going to leave? And then he's like, maybe because it's the most important thing to ever happen. And I'm like, oh, whoa, calm down.
I mean,
that was a little much.
It's pretty important.
Sure.
And here's the thing, and maybe in context, they're like,
but he's like yelling.
I understand, but like maybe in context of the movie, like this is the 5th or 10th guy they've asked who said no, and he's like, he's just at his wit's end,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it'll be better, in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think in the trailer, because we saw this before the Guardians 3 movie, I think. Yeah. And I think I leaned over to you and I was like, yeah, there he is with his speeches again. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you're going to hire Matt Damon to do anything at this point, give him a great speech.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of those in the trailer.
Yeah.
So
I leaned over to Ian and asked him if that was Albert Einstein in the trailer. And he's like, I don't think so. But nope, that's honestly, Albert Einstein in the trailer.
For some reason, I didn't even recall seeing him in the trailer until I watched it again. And I was like, well, yeah, it's obviously Albert Einstein. But
did you see like IGN put on their Instagram like Albert Einstein like audience reaction, and like when it shows him, everyone's like, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I guess there's hype for Albert Einstein. Yeah.
But it's shot beautiful. I think it's very clear that the black and white scenes are after that they've successfully, spoiler alert.
Interesting.
I would imagine that it's probably after the atomic bomb is successfully created, and probably after they use it or something.
Right. I mean, I couldn't think of a reason why, like,
because that seems like it's like the court deposition.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume, because I think you're getting a black and white scene where, like, he's saying, wow, I'm
like Truman wants to know what's next.
Oh, he said, okay. I don't know why I thought he said Roosevelt in my mind, but yeah, I was like, well, I mean, if it's Roosevelt, then like it's definitely not then. But yeah, I mean. I hadn't even thought of the fact that like why there were scenes in black and white. But yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right on the money.
Which is the first time that IMAX cameras have been fitted for black and white.
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
And a lot of the explosion stuff that you're seeing is real. And I know for a fact that he did ask to be able to shoot
blow up a nuke. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Which wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
But I would
I wish it would have. Yeah. Yeah.
It's also, it's cool to see like the Manhattan Project be made, and it's
I feel like it's always been an interesting story, and I think it's really cool we're like finally seeing it.
Like when I went to go see Don't Worry Darling, that was very clearly based off of what that was.
Oh, okay.
And that movie was disappointing.
Yeah.
To say the least. I know other people, like my sister was like, I liked it. And I was like, that's great that you liked it. I just, as a science fiction movie, it was very intriguing. And then all the interesting things that it was building up to, like,
had no
really
answers.
Fell flat at the very end. But yeah, this, I think it like we all know what happens for the most part.
Yeah.
But I think similar to Air and other like impossible tasks that end up happening, this is definitely like, I think it's playing with the idea of making this incredible thing happen, and this true story of how this thing came to be. But it's under it's has a different take, because it's, I want to damn humanity? Yeah. And also we're in a race against Germans to make it happen.
Because the story is like, it's technically about winning the war, but it's really about like creating the most horrifying weapon that we've ever seen on Earth, and that could just kill us all and could be the end of humanity.
Which is crazy. Like, this is technically a World War II movie.
Yeah, yeah. But we're probably not going to see any war scenes, right?
Probably not. I would imagine.
I couldn't see a reason why, unless they wanted to like give context at the very start.
Yeah.
Right.
But still getting those World War II movies.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody just loves World War II.
It's a good era.
Is it?
At least there's a lot of good stories to be told from that era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Greatest Generation. I don't know about that, but
yeah. Well. Yeah, I think next we wanted to talk about the Indiana Jones comments that Harrison Ford has made.
Yeah. So Harrison Ford is saying, very briefly, that we've known for a while that this will be his last time as Indiana Jones.
Which makes complete sense.
He's very old.
Yep.
Don't think it's going to happen. I think he might be older than 80, right? Maybe?
I think he's 80, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But he's saying that this will probably be, if he had to guess, the last time we'll see Indiana Jones on screen.
Yep.
And that means ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true.
There's a lot of reasons why I don't think that's true. I mean, here's the thing. The idea of Indiana Jones is very like similar to James Bond for me, where you can have a lot of different stories take place over this character's life. And let's say like 20, 30 years goes by and we don't have an Indiana Jones movie. I think people at that point would be okay seeing, a younger actor portray, the prime era of Indiana Jones again. And
specifically when he's like fighting Nazis.
Right. Yeah. People want him in the 30s.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I think that's when the movies were the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess
so if they do have a new actor, which I reckon they will, do you want him to be playing like rebooted Indiana Jones, or do you want him canonically different adventures, but it all fits into the canon?
What if I said a little of both? Like maybe
I don't know if that's possible.
Here's the thing, maybe you reboot it, but do all original stories. Don't like remake any of the stories that have been made. Because I don't know if I'd be interested in a remake, but I would be interested in more stories.
That's where I'm at. But what if somebody did try to remake Raiders?
I would be pretty upset, to be honest. Yeah. It's to me
I think it works out better if you do new stories.
Agreed, but it's the same as like it's remaking Back to the Future or like remaking A New Hope. It's like what are you doing touching this, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
But if they have a new actor and they do new stories, do you want it to just be like, okay, new Indiana Jones doesn't have to fit, like he doesn't have to have done Raiders at any point?
I think
do you want it to canonically fit in? Like,
right. Like I think that's the thing. Like I don't know if I would want like new stories to be added to the lore that's there. Like I like the original three enough because you know like I'm not like the biggest fan of Temple of Doom, but I really like Last Crusade and Raiders. So like I don't need more movies added to the canon. I would just want maybe a new universe with new stories. But the same character.
I kind of would like them to like stick with the canon.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the movies is none of those movies, like those original three,
they're not really connect
at all.
Yeah.
So as long as you kind of do that and you just keep the dates correct, I'd be cool with that as a canonista. I
would be okay with that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I would be, because even Temple of Doom technically did that, where they set that movie before Raiders. So you could just keep setting the movies before Raiders if you wanted to, and you'd be fine.
I mean, he's still pretty, like he's probably in his
mid-30s.
30s.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think we probably won't get another Indiana Jones probably for like the next 10 to 15 years.
I would agree. Probably 15, 20 years, I'm guessing.
But
I don't want it sooner. I don't need it sooner.
Am I excited to see Harrison Ford back as Indiana Jones? Yes.
Yep.
But, and this isn't like, I don't mean this in a bad way necessarily. And because maybe Dial of Destiny will be very, very good. I kind of want to see Indy in that earlier, younger ages.
I think we're getting a lot of that in this movie. So
yeah,
maybe.
I agree. I'm very excited to see those younger scenes.
Yeah,
but
I'm also very excited to just see the continuation of Indy and maybe to redeem themselves after Crystal Skull. You know.
Do you think they mention any of Crystal Skull?
I weirdly, even though I don't like that movie, I want them to. Because
he does mention aliens, doesn't he? In the trailer? Maybe he doesn't.
I don't think he does.
Maybe not. Do you think Shia LaBeouf shows up?
I don't think he shows up.
He's mentioned.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's mentioned, because he's literally Indiana Jones' son. Like, I don't know how you could not mention him, or how you could not mention him.
I think he might show up.
There's no way.
Why not?
Way. I don't know. I just don't feel like him and Shia LaBeouf have maybe I'm assuming a lot here, but I don't think they have like a great relationship. I don't think the studio necessarily, I don't think a lot of studios are like guns ho for like working with Shia LaBeouf these days.
But wasn't this movie shot before like any of that controversy with Shia LaBeouf happened?
I mean, he has a controversy every couple of years. So I don't know.
I guess you're not wrong.
So I mean, yes, I like him a lot as an actor.
What if he's never mentioned?
I'd be upset.
Really?
I honestly would. I mean, I think you have to have, like, at this point, you're telling the fifth story in Indiana Jones, and there's some continuity there. And obviously there's not a lot, but like, I feel like you have to at least touch upon the fact that happened to him. Like he got married and he has a
Shia
son.
LaBeouf happened to him.
I mean, I feel like at least he has to mention his wife, who he got married to at the end of
I
Crystal
hope
Skull.
she's in it.
I hope so too.
I hope she's not dead.
or at least at like the very beginning, and then he just goes off on his adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. If they're both in it, I'll be very pleasantly surprised.
What if like Shia's living with them?
I'd be weirdly pleasantly surprised. Yeah. But
All right.
yeah, that's all I gotta say. Nina Jones.
Speaking of pleasant surprises, is this Superman Legacy news that we have?
Yeah, 3, I would say positives depending on who you're speaking to about Superman.
Yeah, for me, it's a pleasant surprise that Crypto is going to be in the movie.
Yeah, I think Crypto's he's an interesting character. I think he's been done pretty badly in Titans, the live action.
I think that he's just taken quite the
like
backseat.
A major backseat. I think his introduction, like with Superboy, was good.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was good.
But they just have kind of whiffed on him since. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited that he's in like James Gunn's hands, and like obviously we just saw Cosmo in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he nailed Cosmo. So I don't have a doubt that he's going to be able to do a great dog character.
I have a feeling that Cosmo will be one of the big reasons why this movie will have a huge toy sale of Cosmo.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I feel like it's like the
Cosmo's
cute thing,
the new cool character, right? Yeah.
That like kids and people are just like, oh, it's so cute and also kind of awesome at the same time. But it's interesting that Cosmo's in this movie because that's quite.
You mean Crypto?
I'm sorry, not Cosmo. I've been saying Cosmo the whole time. Crypto.
I thought you were maybe speaking about Guardians.
Crypto.
But yeah, Crypto.
I think is going to be like the big push, like toy push sort of thing for like Superman, and similar to like a baby Yoda sort of situation, or like a Groot or whatever. But I think having Crypto in the movie is interesting because that's very one side of the comic realm.
Oh yeah, right.
And because Crypto is a dog that's from Krypton.
Yep, from
I
Krypton.
believe, and can like shoot lasers and fly and
has pretty much all Superman's powers.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
he's just one of the most badass dogs on planet Earth. But probably I would say one of the most badass beings at that point. If he's like indestructible like Superman. Yeah.
So it's now maybe Crypto's like just a very small part of the movie. I don't know, but the fact that Crypto's in it at all.
Yeah,
I think that this movie is going to be very.
I mean, obviously very different.
Very much comic-y.
Yeah.
Than the DCU, without a doubt.
I would agree.
It makes me excited to see it. Like,
I mean,
I wasn't expecting Crypto to be in it, but now that he is in it, I'm like, oh, so this is going to be like a very vibrant, brighter movie in some ways.
I think you almost have to make it that because of like the most recent Superman movie being Man of Steel, and how like I don't want to call it dark, but it was a lot more grounded,
serious.
Realistic, serious, like natural. Like it felt like the world was like natural color tones and like
scientific.
Right. I don't know. It just I think there wasn't a whole lot of like fantasy and like pops of color in that movie.
There was on Krypton.
I think there were fantastical elements there, but I would say like everything felt super like sci-fi grounded almost still.
Yeah, it didn't have the hey, young lady, let me help you cross the street and
right.
Which
but,
Zack Snyder like made comments about what
recently,
he thinks about people in his movies, which I don't think he's saying anything bad. I just
don't
necessarily agree with him.
He's right. Yeah. But yeah, I think the other two pieces about Superman Legacy were just the fact that he had turned in the script a week ago, or like a week before the writer's strike started. I guess it was the first draft, I would say, of the script. So it's not like the movie's done, but he's obviously going ahead with pre-production stuff and casting stuff.
Yeah.
And
so luckily he has the script turned in so that they can do things.
Right. And you know, the other thing was that he also recently said that someone asked if any of the Guardians cast were going to be in the new Superman Legacy movie, and he replied yes.
Which is not surprising.
No, it's not.
If you know James Gunn.
Because I would say almost every single one of his favorite like actors he works with and he reuses was in Guardians 3.
Yeah.
So like somebody has to be cast like from that group. I just don't know like what role I'm necessarily seeing any of them in at the moment. Like I know people were saying Karen Gillan for Lois Lane, which I think is a neat choice.
I could see that.
I'm not sure if she's like if James Gunn's going for a younger Superman, I'm not sure if she's the right choice. But
I would say I could see Sean Gunn in maybe not. Well, I think Sean Gunn is gonna be in it some way.
Sure.
But I think I could see like Michael Rooker being like I think his name's Hopstetter or whatever. He's like the dick guy in the newsroom.
Mm-hmm. That was he was in Man of Steel too, right? Yeah.
So I could see Michael Rooker being in that, but sure. I mean, I'm not really surprised that anybody from the Guardians cast, because he always uses Michael Rooker and Sean, doesn't he?
He always uses those two. He used Chuck. I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. But you know, the High Evolutionary actor. He used him in Peacemaker. Jen Holland, his wife, he's used her multiple times. He used Mantis in the Suicide Squad, the Palm Clementif actress.
Who did she play in the Suicide Squad?
She was the singer at that club they went to.
The club they went to.
Remember the dancing scene in the Suicide Squad?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was there at the club.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he just like it's obvious it's gonna happen, so that's why he replied yes.
Yeah. You idiot.
Pretty much. But I think that's all Superman Legacy news.
Yeah, so we'll just do our hypothetical. If you don't know, our hypothetical is each week we give each other a question that we hypothetically would like to see or know or whatever. And my question is, spoilers, if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3, just to let you know.
Probably skip this part of the podcast.
But so skip now.
Yep.
You've been warned. But what is the next project that you would like to see Star-Lord in after Guardians 3?
Yeah, and I think I'm glad this was the question, because my answer does line up with this. I think I was thinking like, what would we want to see any of the Guardians in after this? But I had a really tough time thinking of this question or the answer to this question, because for me, it's hard for me to want to see any of these characters continue on after the really great conclusion they were all given. I think you have the new Guardians of the Galaxy new Guardians of the Galaxy out there.
That would have been a movie I would have liked to have seen.
That would have been interesting. But yeah, I think for me, the one I was able to come up with is it kind of deals with a character we haven't been introduced to yet. So basically, my idea would be for a Nova movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you mean? So I talked to Ian, and he was like, I had a really hard time coming up with this. I was like, I don't know. My answer was pretty quick, and I would have thought it would have been yours too.
Well,
and that was Nova.
I feel like our Novas are going to be like different kind of stories here, because my thought, I don't know if you knew this, but I read the Nova comic back from 2013 when it was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And so that dealt with Sam Alexander Nova, which is Richard Rider's kid.
Okay.
And basically, well, maybe it's not his kid. I mean, I think in the comic, it was very implied that Nova was his dad.
Mm-hmm.
But basically in the comic, it's a pretty straightforward, just like a boy who kind of finds his like father's lost helmet in his garage or something, and he puts it on and he gets connected to the Nova Force. And I guess my thing is, like, now in the MCU, the Nova Corps have been wiped out. Xandar's probably pretty wiped out as well because of Thanos. I'm assuming, because of this, the kid would want to like find his like legacy out, like figure out who he really is, who his dad really was. And because Star-Lord's on Earth,
yep,
it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
And I think it would be at a point where like his granddad's passing away finally, and he's like, it's okay. Like, I know your destiny has always been like out in space, like away from here. And I think it would be a great way to reintroduce the cosmic side to MCU.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know that Nova and Spider-Man kind of have like a bit of a team up situation.
Right.
Throw a Spider-Man in there if you want. That would be fun.
Interesting.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
And
like
those two for their team up.
But
I don't want it. Yeah.
I think if I had to guess, that is where Star-Lord's gonna show up next.
You think so?
I think because I think they are thinking about having a Nova series.
They've been talking about Nova for a while. I guess for me, James Gunn wrote them in an interesting way, because the Nova Corps that was in the first Guardians movie, they were mainly just officers with like really great technology.
Yeah.
But none of them had any abilities. They were just people.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of want to like know how they bridge the gap. Like how is the suit that Sam Alexander puts on like giving him abilities, and like maybe in the 4 years between Guardians 2 and Infinity War, like they beefed up their suits and something happened that way. And I don't know.
Like what's happened to Xandar these 9 years or so?
Because all we know is Thanos attacked them at one point,
or 5 to 6, 7 years since it's been blown up.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Plus, because of that gap, you can also just write in the fact that like Star-Lord befriended Nova, like the original Nova, and that's why
I knew your dad.
Right. Yeah. And if you really wanted to be gross, you could even make it the officer from the first Guardians movie, like you remember that the main like white, it was John C. Reilly, wasn't it?
I was going to say, you want Richard Rider to be John C. Reilly?
It would be gross.
Or the guy who's like, what a bunch of a-holes. That guy?
No, I'm thinking of John C. Reilly. But I know it's only because those two, like him and Star-Lord, already have that connection by the end of Guardians 1. Like that's the only reason.
Or
and
like,
the fact that he's a Nova Corps
John C.
officer.
Reilly's like the brother of Richard Rider.
Sure.
Or like his cousin or something.
Yeah. That's probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really think of another property that I really think A, makes sense.
Yeah.
Or B, I would like to see. I mean, weirdly, they won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, but like maybe I could see him do some weird thing, show up somehow in Thunderbolts. But like I
wouldn't want that at all.
But I'm like, I don't know how any of that works. Or maybe Fantastic Four, but again, like I'm like,
nothing feels right that is like connected to
maybe Wonder Man, but like again,
maybe
what is I don't know.
I feel like it has to deal with someone from the cosmic side.
Yeah. Like he doesn't really have any connection on Earth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. He really doesn't. I mean, he fought with the Avengers at one point, but that was years ago. So
yeah,
and they haven't talked since, I'm assuming. So
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But we'll keep continuing with Marvel stuff, which is the biggest news that I'm sure you know about if you're listening to this podcast, is the writers' strike. in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So we know that there are 2 projects, maybe 3. Blade is completely paused.
Which
Daredevil's paused.
I'm very happy about Blade being paused. I think I like, obviously this movie has gone through a writer or 2 already, and there's been a little bit of drama, and so I'm glad the script isn't going to be rushed and that they're not just like powering through to get a release date out.
It's just really unfortunate because if you have been following the Blade news, they have had 2 or 3 writers been attached and unattached, and now they just had Nick Pizzolatto, who did True Detective, write enough of the script that he would be the main writer credit.
Yeah.
And he was just hired to do that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or so. And so now you have this writer's strike. So I don't even know if they finished the script or not.
They didn't. They definitely didn't.
And so again, this movie's getting delayed again.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how, it's I can't imagine being Mahershala Ali or anybody attached to this movie. Man, I can't do anything because my contract's getting tied up with this, or how do I get attached to any other projects when this current thing's in flux? And you know he's gonna be having to keep staying in shape. And I'm really sad because I think everyone was really excited for Blade, and now I just feel like it's so plagued with problems that I don't know if it's gonna turn out good.
Okay, but think of how many, Ant-Man went through the same thing. The original Ant-Man.
I don't think as much though.
It had 2 different writers attached to it before the 3rd writer came in. Because I think Peyton Reed was also kind of a writer on that as well, right?
I've heard differing opinions.
Maybe I'm
I know
there.
somebody, I think our friend Wes said he was actually didn't do as much writing credits, but then he did more on Quantumania and
I think
second movie.
I was saying to somebody at least that the reason why the first Ant-Man feels, yes, it feels like a Marvel movie, but there's actual character in there is because of, and I can't remember their names, but the 2 guys who originally wrote it, they kept a lot of that, those scripts, and that's where the other 2 movies kind of fell off, is that they didn't have that same charm that the first script did.
Yeah.
So
but I don't think that Ant-Man has had quite as much drama as Blade.
I mean, besides the writers leaving
and directors.
Sure.
And Mahershala not being happy with the script.
Yeah.
And it getting delayed.
Yeah.
And the writer's strike. And right before they start to shoot, a month before shooting, they get a new writer in. And now with the writer's strike, he can't finish the script.
Yeah. No, it's bad. You're right. Yeah.
They announced him to be Blade in 2018.
It was definitely not that long ago. Back in Infinity War? There's no way.
Maybe 2019, but yeah.
That is wild.
It was that long ago.
Man. Yeah, so, I hope he's not going to resent Marvel for this.
That's the thing. I don't know if he'll probably do the movie.
Right.
But does he continue?
Point, yeah, that's the thing, is because they've been very open about, Disney and Marvel have been very open about the fact that they are only signing actors on for 1 movie at a time now. And at that point, why would he feel the need to stick around? You're just going to put out 1 Blade movie and then that's it. So,
and not to mention, I think Blade's great, but
yeah,
the way that the MCU's been built up, it sounds weird to say, but having the cosmic side of things and Norse gods, and then just regular being on Earth, that seems feasible somehow in a weird way to me, that it works in the MCU. But there's something about having the supernatural, which was
That's where you cut off?
Well, it's just like when it was touched on with Agatha in where it went back all those years and years ago where she was in that coven. And
right.
That's when I was like, okay, I like Scarlet Witch and I like all of that. So like, it's not so weird. But for me, the idea that there's vampires in the same universe where the first Iron Man happened, just it's a weird thing. It's a weird. I don't like for some reason the supernatural going into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is and like Werewolf by Night. I liked Werewolf by Night, and I can see it happening. It's just I want to see how they do it, because when you go into vampires and werewolves and all of that, I love all that stuff, but do I like? I've never been.
Do you want it in your MCU?
I've never been a big fan of it in comics. Like,
interesting.
I'm cool with gods and like and the cosmic side of things, because to me that all weirdly fits into like these incredible beings who, but like, I mean, you could say the same thing, like vampires and werewolves are incredible beings, but there's something more, I don't know. There's just something about it that's always made me feel weird.
Right. You're thinking of it like, well, that's just an unexplainable, like why are there vampires and werewolves? Like, I don't know. I guess I almost look at it
because even
as
the Norse gods were like with Thor and the Asgardians, like, they are gods, but they're almost aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I would say, like, you could easily explain it in the MCU by writing them as like, obviously we don't have a ton of mutants yet, but like that these vampires are just a type of mutant and werewolves are just another type of super like power that somebody has.
You're right.
Yeah,
but in Werewolf by Night, I think they literally are like the full moon and fucking
sure.
But
that could be, like a part of somebody's like shtick, right? That they go, I don't know. I feel you, but it's I don't know. For me, I get it, but I don't think I have like nearly that same problem. Like for me, the MCU is already so crowded.
It's definitely crowded.
I don't think anything else is really gonna like at this point bother me, because like you've added the Egyptian gods, you added clandestines and
which I still can't wrap my head around how that's gonna fit into anything.
I don't think it will. Yeah, but yeah, I think yes. Would I rather Blade be its own thing? Yes, absolutely. But if it's in the MCU, I won't have a problem unless they try and like bring him into a team up movie and he's done badly there. Like if he's not fighting vampires, do I need Blade around? I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely would like to see a Werewolf by Night like little cameo or something.
That'd be neat.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
But also, like we said, Daredevil, that's paused. Which I don't think it's gonna affect things too much.
I don't think. I mean, unless the writer strike is more than like 2 to 3 months, then I don't think it's gonna push a due date back for Daredevil, because I think that's late 2024. That's looking to come out. But yeah, I think honestly, every show and movie that I'm hearing that's pausing during the writer strike, I'm very happy about, because every movie like from the writer strike from 2007 or show that just continued on, like just got worse because of it. Like there's almost zero cases out there where you're like, yeah, that was a good idea that this pushed through.
Well, there's one movie that I'm kind of concerned about. The script's done, so they can keep doing it,
right?
But apparently, because Ryan Reynolds is technically a writer with the Writers Guild, he can't improv potentially for Deadpool 3 on set.
Yeah, you should not shoot that movie if he can't improvise. Yeah.
So
that's really worrisome. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, and there's a couple of instances of that like right now, because there's like I want to say Andor, the that's like like the showrunner of that can be on set, but he can't have any writing or any of those kind of duties. So that's just going out how it is. Like there's no touch ups or anything.
Yeah, like I don't work in Hollywood. I haven't worked in Hollywood. I don't know if it's gonna be a super big deal with those shows.
Right.
And I know like time is money, but yeah, I mean, depending, like if there's enough of these instances where it's like, oh, we have this really good idea, like maybe pause it. But then again, like I can see how like people who control the money are just like,
no, you need to make this.
Just do it. Just do it. It was fine.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know.
Yeah, like the scripts are approved. Why not just go ahead?
But yeah, I mean, we're not going to feel any of the effects of this for
a year or two. Yeah.
At least a year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's also maybe not unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a thing to say.
It's a good segue, isn't it? Is we got some like a really interesting description of the Secret Invasion show that's coming out.
Yeah.
Basically, we got a description of that. It's like two movies combined. I'm struggling to remember the other one, but it was The Searchers, and you don't remember?
I can check your notes. Yeah, it's The Searchers and The Third Man.
Yeah. So
which I don't know those movies.
I've seen The Searchers. But basically what they were saying in the quote was that like the movie's gonna like start off as this like crime noir where, you know, he's not really sure like what's going on and he's got to figure out this mystery. And then it'll turn into this like Western adventure where, you know, he's setting out to go on this mission and it's kind of an epic journey he goes on.
Yeah.
So basically that's The Searchers part is like the Western, because it's been a while since I've watched it, but truly one of the greatest Westerns I've ever seen. John Wayne movie.
John Wayne.
But yeah, he's basically it's very old school. He's like a character that came back from the Civil War, and his niece is kidnapped by a Native American tribe, and he has to go on this like, you know, adventure to rescue,
to search,
right? Yeah. And so I mean, I think the search takes like 5 years, so it's like it's a
dedicated,
really epic movie. So yeah, I mean, if that's the comparison, I think that's super exciting.
I mean, hearing the description is I knew that there was going to be like a noir political thriller angle to it, and that's very much what the trailers sell it as. So I'm like, cool, I like that.
Yeah,
I'm down. The gunslinger Western part of it, where he's just like I'm imagining just a Tombstone, Kurt Russell, just hunting down fools, and just
I think it is going to be a lot of that, where like you see Samuel L. Jackson actually like doing a lot of action in the show, and killing a lot of Skrulls. You know, I think that's going to be the main part of this show. I
don't know who it is, but I know that there's been a lot of people who have read the script and seen the first episode or bits of it that are like, there is a character, an MCU character that you may have like toys of.
Oh my gosh.
That is maybe not
who they really are.
And
that's crazy.
I would love for like there to be like a Red Dead Redemption, like when he's in this gunslinger, like going after people, like one of them is like an MCU character who's not the MCU character, and he's got to like shoot him or her or whatever.
Who do you think Nick Fury would have the hardest time shooting at this point?
The hardest time?
It'd probably be Maria Hill, maybe.
Ooh. That
would be rough.
That would be rough.
Yeah.
Maria Hill would be rough.
Obviously Captain Marvel would be rough. I couldn't even imagine Captain Marvel being a Skrull. Yeah.
Maybe as like a little cameo thing though, potentially.
Oh, just that she's in it?
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Sure.
But hard time.
I mean, any of the original 6.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah,
But there's no way they're making any of those guys Skrulls. You know, like
I don't know.
the original 6.
I don't know.
There's no way.
I don't know.
Could you imagine like Clint just being a Skrull and you're like, excuse me? Like I couldn't. I don't know if I could handle that. Like
I think that I would. But that's what Marvel needs. Is
I agree.
Something like that.
They need something like big that just like that changes the universe somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm even more excited about this now. That's great.
I just hope that the Western part of it is not
too overdone,
like too Marvel-y, like
Sure.
too like big gun blast. Like I'm gonna shoot a bunch of people, and it's like. I want, like, if you're going to go gunslinger, like, Western, like, yeah, sure, make it, like, have big, like, action scenes at points, but really make it, like, how old Westerns were, where it's the particular one person, and it's serious and drawn out a little bit. Not too much, but.
No, yeah, that's what it should be, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last piece of news we wanted to talk about here today was some surprising Mortal Kombat news, the movie. Basically.
The sequel.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if you remember, but like the big piece of news at that time was that the actor who played Sub-Zero, or I think it was Sub-Zero, signed a 5-movie contract.
What?
Yeah. So they're planning on a lot of these movies. And the sequel here looks
maybe
like...
they just like put that in the contract just in case it did really well.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, basically the rumor is that Karl Urban is in final talks to play Johnny Cage in the movie.
Yeah. And if you don't know who Johnny Cage is, he's a very, very popular character from the Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah.
Very Hollywood, very sunglass wearing, does a bunch of one-liners, sort of.
I think this could easily
very big character.
As much as I love Billy Butcher, like this could be the most fun role like we've ever seen Karl Urban in.
Maybe.
Although it's attached to the Mortal Kombat movie, which I didn't think the first one was that great. So I guess we'll keep the writing in mind that I think Billy Butcher's probably a much better, strongly written character than Johnny Cage is going to be. But I still think it's going to be really fun to watch Karl Urban play this character.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll probably do a great job just from him being Billy Butcher on The Boys. Like I can see how he might play it.
Yeah.
What I do like, I like that it's Karl Urban. I potentially would like somebody a bit more bimbo-y to be.
Sure, like someone who comes off as like a lunkhead almost. Who just it doesn't really think about things and it's just like in it for the entertainment.
Here's a name, Glenn Powell.
Sure.
That like you bulk Glenn Powell up like a ton more. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
I would like that.
I mean,
I think like Glenn Powell's necessarily just like like a bimbo or whatever, but like or a himbo, I guess is what you would say. But like he's got more of that because Karl Urban is a bit more rougher and
sure.
I guess
he doesn't scream like a Hollywood guy.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I was talking to our friend Jared about it, and he was saying that he would really like The Miz to be.
Yes, that's what everybody was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would be. I mean, very cool. I don't like follow WWE like all that much, but I know of him. I think he looks really close to Johnny Cage, and I think he would pull off the way he acts. So,
but can he act?
He can act enough for WWE, but can he act enough for like an actual movie? Even though like I don't feel like you're gonna need big acting chops for Mortal Kombat.
I feel like just a bunch of one-liners.
Yeah. So I think he would have been perfect for that, but I also think Karl Urban's gonna be really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm somewhat interested in the sequel. I'm not like, whoa, I love that, because I did not love the Mortal Kombat movie.
No.
I like some of the action.
Some of the action was good.
Mostly the stuff between Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah, those were the two best scenes, the beginning and the end with those two. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, pretty cool.
Yep.
Well, yeah, we also every week we like to go over what we watched throughout the past week. So I don't know if you had anything.
Yeah, I watched the first 4 episodes of Love and Death.
Oh, nice.
The first episode, I was like, it's, it's okay. But the next 3 episodes were amazing.
Oh, good.
Very good. If you like, sexual affairs, like secret affairs mixed with God-fearing people and then murder. And the thing is that this is also based on a true story.
Yeah.
Like, this actually happened. They get to the murder part. Like, I would have thought when I heard about the show, it would have been much later in the season.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Not true.
So, like, pretty much at the end of the first episode, I'm assuming?
Not that soon.
Okay.
But
pretty soon.
It's in there.
Okay.
It's not too far away. And the way that it all builds is pretty great.
Nice.
And Elizabeth Olsen is great, as always.
How's Jesse Plemons?
He's good, too.
Nice.
There's, directors keep wanting him. And you would think, like,
I think he's a good actor.
But like, he always kind of plays that same, like,
sure, the monotone, like, creepy guy. Right.
Not even creepy, just like dull. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I guess I've seen him in a couple roles where I don't find him
like what?
Like gosh, do you was it it wasn't Date Night.
Because when he's in I'm thinking about Ending Things, and when he's in
Breaking Bad.
Sure, a little bit of Breaking Bad, because Todd's very interesting character.
I don't think Todd comes off as creepy until you get to like El Camino. And then you're like, oh God,
he's a lot more creepier than.
Absolutely.
But like in The Power of the Dog, similar character.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the one I'm thinking of too is a comedy that he was in. I feel like it was called Game Night or something.
Yeah, I mean that was like the Will Ferrell movie, I think.
Maybe, but he played another guy who was like their neighbor and had always wanted to like come over for game night, and he like saw them bringing in bags of chips, and he's like, oh, well, what are those for? And it just played that same kind of like creepy tone, right?
Okay.
So
I watched that, and then I watched the first episode of The White House Plumbers.
I want to see that too.
I was not expecting it to be as much of a comedy.
Oh, okay.
As it is.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not in love with it.
Right.
But it's very more in like the comedy route of like, it's like, have you seen Vice?
I haven't. No.
Which is like the movie where Christian Bale plays Dick Cheney, and
oh yeah, I did want to see that. I just haven't yet.
Like it's like a lesser kind of version of Vice in a way.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you're interested, I would say check it out. It's got some good moments in it. It's I don't know how much of it is true or is embellished.
Right.
Because of the way that they do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then, we both saw Man of Steel.
Yeah, so, we watched that again, Monday.
But that Beautiful was movie. It, yeah.
Yeah, the big
and
thing,
obviously I'm still watching Barry in Succession.
Right.
But I don't need to say any more about those.
Yeah, I mean you've watched a good bit more than I have this week. I mean I will say I've watched so for context, I watched the first season of The Boys when it came out, and then didn't watch any more after that because I'm stupid. And I watched all of season 2. And season 2 was great. I absolutely love season 2. I think adding like Stormfront / Liberty into it was a great like
Liberty.
You don't remember the twist of season 2?
Wait, I know the twist, but like
that's her character.
Wait, was that her?
Like, her previous like super
was
like,
Liberty?
Was Liberty?
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot that.
Yeah,
well, that's funny.
Yeah, right. But yeah, she like having her in was a great twist. I think the way they dealt with like his kid and all the drama around the kid was great. And
Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, that's his name.
Pushing him off the roof.
Whew, yeah, seeing a kid just fall lifeless. Yeah, that was a little jarring. But there's a lot of jarring violence in this show.
Homelander, liking Homelander.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I don't know if you remember the scene where like he's imagining it, but he's in front of this crowd of protesters. And he just imagines himself like wiping the entire crowd, like lifeless. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad that was an imagining sequence. I was like, because that would have broke their world.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, I think overall, like the plot line of season 2 with the Compound V being like fully broken out was great. I think Jared, our friend, also pointed this out a while ago. And I didn't see it until like the very end of the season. But his complaint with the show is that like the action just isn't there, like for him.
Sure.
And I would say you didn't need it. Like I think the action that was there in the first 7 episodes was really good, and you didn't need.
Are we talking about season 2?
Yeah.
Does he have a complaint about the first season with the action?
I think he just meant like overall of the show. But like for me, the first 7 episodes, you got violence. You didn't need any like fight scenes or anything, and it was really good
because the threat, of who at least Homelander is at the very least,
right?
Let alone the 7 is, or just the idea of like Vought as an entity is enough.
Yeah, you don't need the action always there.
Yeah,
but when it was there at the very end in the finale, when it was the 3 like Stormfront, Maeve, and Kimiko versus Stormfront.
So it's
Starlight, Kimiko, and Maeve versus Stormfront.
Yes,
and like that was pretty weak. Like I would like I think you had some like really good combos where like they were just beating the shit out of her with their fists. But like
I'm shocked. That was one of the best moments of that. That was so dope.
The concept of it is, but like think of the great action we just got from the Guardians movie. Like that looks like complete garbage compared to it.
But different budgets.
I feel you, but like I wanted them to use their powers, and like Starlight barely used hers, and Stormfront barely used hers.
It was so cathartic to see them beat the shit out of her.
I wanted more from that moment, but I feel. I mean, yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
I can see what you're getting, where you're going for.
Everything else in The Boys was great. Like that's my one complaint too, is that when action does have to come into it, I didn't think it was really good, but
well. Just wait till season 3.
Yeah.
I'm
excited about season 3 because I've heard a lot about Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where the Deep story goes because he's kind of out there in no man's land now, not with the church or Vought. He's just a person.
Yeah.
So really good season.
Yeah.
Can't wait for season 3.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about all we watched for today or for this past week. And that's all we have to talk about for the podcast. A bit on the shorter side, but I'm sure some people won't be complaining. But yeah, so we wanted to thank you all for listening to the podcast and supporting us. We are at Last Week This Week Pod on our socials if you want to follow us there and support us there on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you want to listen to us in the future, we are uploading on Fridays and Saturdays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. But yeah, if you also want to support us further, you could subscribe to our channels or give us a like or a comment or a rating, and we would greatly appreciate it.
We would love you No, I'm kidding.
We would love you, but not personally.
Yeah, no. But yeah, thank you for sticking around this long. Do any of those things that Ian said. That would be amazing. That would help us out so much. We appreciate it. And until next time.